R.G. Lee was one of the great pulpiteers of the 20th century. He pastored Bellevue Baptist Church in Memphis, Tennessee for 33 years. He was a strong fundamentalist leader in the Southern Baptist Convention, and he authored numerous books. But with all of that, the name R.G. Lee is without a doubt most famously associated with one sermon that he preached throughout his ministry, heard by over 3 million people. Payday Someday. His amazing life and ministry is a story of hard work and diligent study. Robert Green Lee was born in a log cabin to sharecroppers on November 11, 1886, in York County, South Carolina. He grew up working hard on the farm and attending Fort Mill Baptist Church, where he was saved and baptized at 12 years of age. Robert knew immediately after getting saved that he was supposed to be a preacher and that he needed to get an education. He had had limited schooling as a boy, but he loved to learn. He promised his dad that he would stay and work on the farm until he was 21 before he went away to school. He was ordained to preach in his home church in 1909, and he preached and pastored as he went through college. He graduated magna cum laude in 1913, and that same year he married Beulah Gentry. Robert and Beulah Lee would have 2 children, a son and a daughter. R.G. Lee's first full-time pastorate was at the Red Bank Baptist Church in Saluda, South Carolina. He had always dreamed of simultaneously being a pastor and teaching college. And in 1918, it seemed that his dream would be realized when he was offered the opportunity to head the Latin department at Furman. Robert resigned his church in Saluda, and the Lees moved to New Orleans, where Robert took some graduate courses to prepare him to teach at Furman. But when they returned to South Carolina, he was informed that the Board of Trustees had recently voted that no new faculty member could be concurrently serving as pastor. R.G. Lee was forced to make a difficult decision: professor or pastor. He chose to decline the university position, and he became the pastor of the First Baptist Church of Edgefield, South Carolina. Still passionate about pursuing education, Robert took correspondence classes from the Chicago Law School while pastoring in Edgefield, completing courses in ethics, sociology, psychology, philosophy, and international law. And it was while he was pastoring the First Baptist Church in Edgefield, South Carolina, that God gave R.G. Lee the sermon that would come to define his ministry. In a Wednesday night prayer meeting, 35-year-old Pastor Lee gave a 20-minute message from 1 Kings 21. After the service, Pastor Lee was shaking hands with his church people as they left, when a godly deacon took his hand and said, "Son, you have something in that message. If you'll go home and elongate it and elaborate on it, you'll really have a great sermon." That night, R.G. Lee couldn't get his deacon's words out of his head. As he sat by the fire thinking, he said, "Suddenly something or somebody stirred my blood. My heart was moved. My mind inspired." He went to his study and read, prayed, thought, and wrote. And by 3 a.m, R.G. Lee had written the sermon that he would preach over 1,200 times to over 3 million people over the next 50 years in 44 states and 7 foreign countries, seeing over 8,000 people trust Christ as a result. Listen to the opening lines of this legendary sermon. I introduce to you Naboth. Naboth was a devout Israelite who lived in the town of Jezreel. Naboth was a good man. He abhorred that which is evil. He clave to that which is good. He would not dilute the stringency of his personal piety for any profit in money. He would not change his heavenly principles for loose expediencies. And this good man who loved God, his family, and his nation had a little vineyard which was close by the summer palace of Ahab the king, a palace unique in its splendor, as the first palace inlaid with ivory. This little vineyard had come to Naboth as a cherished inheritance from his forefathers, and all of it was dear to his heart. I introduce to you Ahab, the vile human toad who squatted upon the throne of his nation, the worst of Israel's kings. King Ahab had command of a nation's wealth and a nation's army. but he had no command of his lusts and appetites. Ahab wore rich robes, but he had a sinning and wicked and troubled heart beneath them. You can find this great message, Payday Someday, on YouTube. You won't be disappointed. R.G. Lee became the pastor of Bellevue Baptist Church in Memphis, Tennessee on December 11, 1927, and he pastored there until February 1, 1960. While he was pastor, the church grew by over 10,000 members. He spent the 1960s and 70s preaching around the world. R.G. Lee died in Memphis on July 20th, 1978, at 91 years of age. Christian, God greatly blesses diligence and hard work for His glory. Stay the course.